Welcome back to the basement. This scene looks similar to the last one. It's because it's pretty much directly after. We got some accompaniment going on with the Gitter. So this first question comes from Stubbs. He's a good friend of ours. He's the one responsible for taking all the band photos for Painface. He's the one that shot the video and stuff that's being worked on non-stop, it seems like, for the Endless that we did. And so Stubbs throws me his first question. This is his first question because he already knows the answers to most of them. How hands-on were you in creating the artwork and photos for MFKR and Fleshcraft? And what were the shoots like with Stefan Seskis? It was mostly Sean and I that were putting that stuff together. We spent a lot of late nights at Kinko's making copies of things and situating them on paper, gluing crap down, all sorts of stuff. It was back before computers ruled the day. Actually, I think it was even before Windows came out with Windows 95. So yeah, it definitely was. It was definitely before Photoshop, any of that fun stuff. So we spent a lot of time putting that stuff together, and it was interesting stuff. And the shoots with Stefan were just mind-blowing to me because I'd never done anything like that before. And it was amazing, his skill with the camera. And you know, he'd shut all the lights off, and then he'd have the shutter open on the camera, and he'd just go up to different places with his flash, just go flash, and that's all that would appear on the film. It was really neat. And Stefan is a world-class photographer, in my opinion. Great guy too. He's done a lot of stuff for very, very little money. And so anyway, thank you for that, Stubbs. And what do you got next? Oh, tuning. This one comes from Scum Grief. Is there two versions of MFKR? I heard in some interview with Slipknot like 10 or so years ago that you guys recorded the entire album and there was some mix-up with the record company and you guys recorded and changed the whole album, and that re-recorded version is the one that got released. Did you guys have another version of this album? I heard the original album was a death metal album too. Is that true or just BS? BS. The only mix-up that we had was basically we kept denying what we were hearing from the mastering studio, because it was mostly because we had such thundering drums going on, and a lot of it with me and Sean on top of Joey, and we had to bring it back and fix the mix a little bit just so it wasn't farting out and blowing out everybody's speakers. It was just way, way too bass heavy, but we didn't re-record anything, and we didn't it wasn't a different version one way or the other. It was just the version that you hear. It's just all in the mastering and in the mix. So thank you for that, Scum Grief. Oh, he's also got Slipknot named the song Sick after the death metal band Sick from Minneapolis, didn't they? I believe so. I can't imagine anybody in the band actually knew what Sick in parentheses meant until they saw the death metal band up there that used to be a band called Disturbed, not to be confused with the one that you hear on the radio. They were a really good death metal band too. So, okay, Scum Grief. What do you think about the name Scum Grief? I like it. I figured you probably would. Yeah. Takes after his old man. Kanan McKiernan. Kanan, that's a cool sounding name. When and where did you meet the guys that are now in Slipknot? And it's signed Laser. Well, I met Paul at a music store back in, I think, 1999, and I met Sean at our first show. This is kind of in the order that I met these guys, because he was in a band called Heads on the Wall, and I was playing drums for Vex, and Paul was in that band, and we played the same show. And back then, Sean and I kind of looked alike. In fact, his grandmother came to see a show one time, and she came up and started talking to me because she thought I was Sean. Then I met Jim Root, same circumstances, playing shows with him in an Atomic Opera, probably right around the same time I met Sean. Corey came around several years later. I'd seen him around at shows. I didn't really know him. I didn't spend a lot of time talking to other people because I was just nervous as hell about everything all the time. I was a kid still. Let's see, who else? Mick was in a band called Incarnated, and once we turned into Body Pit, we met him and befriended him. And Joey, he was in Modifidius, which Josh Brainerd, he left Vex to go join that band. There's kind of some changing of band members back then. What are you playing?
Nothing.
Give me something a little more gruesome. On an acoustic, that's kind of a... Well, that's a start.
No kill switch.
Boy.
No kill switch.
Trying to keep track. There's too many people in the band now. Jeez. Sid, I didn't meet him until he was in the band. Chris Fain actually tried out for Painface on drums. That's when I met him, and we ended up going with somebody else, and then he immediately joined Slipknot. So that was good, because that would have sucked if we got him in the band and got him worked in, and then all of a sudden he left to go try out for Slipknot, and then we had to be out of a drummer again. I feel like I'm missing somebody. No, I'm not. Oh, Craig. I've known him since junior high. He was a grade behind me. So, anyway, that was a long, drawn-out answer to those, but you'll get that on occasion. Cake or death? Cake or death? I agree. I'd like to know about the song Gently, MFKR version of course. Who came up with the main song structure? What exactly is it about? Why is it called Gently, and what influenced the lyrics for it? It's probably my favorite song on MFKR. Well, Cake, or can I say K-O-D? Sean came up with the lyrics for Gently. It was in a poem book that he had done in high school, I believe. It has octopuses on the cover or something like that. And back during what you call the basement sessions, when we didn't really have a name, we were just kind of jamming for the fun of it. They had already worked that song out with the drum parts and everything, and turned it into a sort of a tribal drum jam, is what it was when we were in the beginning. And I don't know what it's about. You'd have to ask Sean. Good luck getting that out of him. He's got a crazy creative brain, and I never asked him what it was about. I figured it's his art. He can have the answers to himself. And as far as structuring out the actual song that you heard, Paul was really involved with that part also. And even Donnie was involved with that too. So thank you for that, Cake. We got Zeppelin Day in the Colsefni basement. Do you hear any of that stuff going on?
Nope.
Something's, yeah, thanks. All right. Give me something good.
Putting me on the spot here.
I sure am. No.
Just kidding. I'll record that after this.
Okay. Oh, Loves to Spooge sends me a... I don't even want to hold on to that question. Loves to Spooge. Hi, Anders. You mentioned in the last episode that Donnie didn't play any shows with the band, but I have read that he did play the very first show, which was a benefit show back in 1995. Do you remember the date of this particular gig, and was it really played at a place called the Crowbar, like mentioned in many online sources? Yes, it was played at the Crowbar, and this is what I was referring to before. I misquoted that Donnie had never played with Slipknot, but really he didn't, because we hadn't named the band Slipknot yet. We called ourselves Meld on the spur of the moment because we were technically still in the studio, and our gear was still down there even, I believe. So when Sean McMahon said, hey, I want you guys to play this thing, we all want to play real bad, so we just hauled our ass down there and put on this impromptu performance. I don't remember what we played, probably songs off of MFKR, because we didn't have more than that, really. I'm sure we played Fur. Boy, I wish we had video of Fur. That was just mean. So yeah, Donnie played that show with us, and yeah, that's that. So good catch there, Loves to Spooge. So we are going to call that a wrap for this one. And guess what? We're going to record some more while we're here, but I'm going to cut this short because we got to go take care of some stuff outside.
Still have to go to Tasty Tacos too.
Yeah, I did promise that, didn't I? Hey, I'll give Donnie a call and see if he's up for it. He might be practicing right now or something. All right. From the basement, Anders and Josh out.
Take on